Okay, so I put together this presentation hungover yesterday after that VIP dinner. I wanted to be here, but I had to work on this presentation. I really want to put something special for you guys. From videographer to creative strategist, elevating your impact. So let me just read this outline here. Videographers are undervalued because they're perceived as content creators, not creative strategists, limiting their impact, income, and opportunities. So my goal here today is I want to share my creative journey and some of the strategies and tactics that I've learned in the different stages of my career, in the different industries, the different years. And I'm hoping that you guys can walk away with some of these techniques and apply it to your business and provide more value to your clients, provide impact. So let's dive into it. All right, so I'm going to take you, ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me okay? I just noticed, is that good, like this? Okay, so I'm going to start with chapter 1, the origin, and I'm going to take you back to 2007. So I don't know if you guys remember, in 2007, the New England Patriots had the perfect season. Any New England Patriots fans here? Tom Brady? And then unfortunately they lost in the Super Bowl to the Giants. Oh, that was devastating. I was a big fan of Tom Brady and Randy Moss. What else happened in 2007? We have here Steve Jobs unveils the first iPhone. So what are we at? We're at like iPhone 16 or 17. I'm starting to feel old now, like looking back at 2007, the first iPhone. Also, what happened in 2007 was where I got my first camera. So I picked up one of these bad boys right here, the camcorder. I don't know if you guys ever messed around with the camcorder. Back then, we didn't have all these iPhones. We had to have these camcorders. And it was a lot of fun. That's where I really discovered this hobby. I would bring my camcorder to on trips. I would bring it out with friends, capture a lot of great fun moments. And then I would put together these simple videos, these montages. I would edit it. There was no Adobe Premiere back there. There was no DaVinci. There was, I don't know, who has used Windows Movie Maker? Come on, that was, you put you import all your footage, and then you got all those cheesy transitions, the page peel, the star dissolve, the circle. So I would do that, I would stitch together these clips and add some music in the background, export it, I would throw it up on Facebook, and everybody loved it. They're like, oh, wow, this is amazing. Because back then, it's not like today where everybody's doing videos, like our parents are doing videos now. Back then, it was really only just the professionals. It was the YouTubers. So when an average person like me put together some video like that, I was like, oh, wow, that's impressive. So it was a lot of fun. It was very motivating, putting that content out there. And that's where I really discovered this hobby. It eventually turned into a passion, just from this little camcorder camera and putting myself out there on Facebook. Got a lot of recognition, which was really fun. Also, what happened in 2007? That was the year that I swam with dolphins. This has nothing to do with my creative journey or any strategy. I was, when I was putting together this presentation, I was looking at folders and I saw this picture of me swimming with dolphins in 2007. So I'm just like, let me just throw it up there for fun. But yeah, that was my experience with a dolphin. So this was 2007 when I picked up my camera. Fast forward to chapter 2, the shift, 2010. This is where I got my first DSLR. I was at a party, it was a friend's party, and his sister had a Canon Rebel T2i. Anybody familiar with that DSLR? It was a great camera. It was an intro type of beginner's camera. When I saw the images that she produced, the crisp, the cinematic look, the bokeh. This was all new to me, you know. I'm used to this camcorder and these point and shoots. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I really got to get myself a DSLR. So what I did was I purchased my first DSLR, Canon T2i Rebel, and I started to do the same thing with my camcorder. I was taking pictures of events, just like family and friends events. I was going on vacation and acting like I was some travel influencer and putting together these montages. I was sharing it again on Facebook, and I was getting a lot of appreciation. Everybody liked it, and people started to reach out to me to create content for them. Very small projects. At this point of my journey, I'm just doing a 9-to-5 job at the bank, and this hobby is slowly transitioning to something that can make me some money. So I was getting reached out, hey, can you do family portraits for me? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. I got approached my first wedding. Shot it with this camera, $500. I charged them $500 for a wedding, and I quickly learned that now I know why these wedding videographers make money. It's super stressful, and I'm just like, wow, thank God nothing went wrong. Like, I didn't even have extra batteries. Like, I was like running around. So these little projects started to come in just by me documenting some of the things in my life. And here's a picture of my dog, taking pictures, throwing it up on Facebook. This is my proposal in Hawaii. So I loved capturing content, went to Hawaii with my wife, and I filmed the proposal by a waterfall, put it on a tripod, and I captured it. Put together this cute video, again, threw it on Facebook, and it got quite a bit of attention. It got the attention of an American marketing agency. So they saw it, and they're like, we love your video. Can we use it for our campaign for Valentine's Day? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then they're like, we'll pay you $10,000. I'm like, well, I was gonna do it for free. I was gonna but they're like, yeah, here's $10,000. And they only used 3 seconds of it. It was a quick 3 seconds mixed in with other stuff. I was like, wow, okay. So I got $10,000, continued to do these videos. I was slowly gaining traction of these small projects. So I decided to get the Canon 5D Mark II. I feel like that is the camera that revolutionized this whole indie filmmaking, the DSLR type of content. So got myself a Canon 5D Mark II, continued to do these little videos, starting to get some traction. Again, I'm still working a 9-to-5, and that's where, fast forward a few years to 2012, I decided to start a wedding company. We provided photo and video. I was, throughout the years, I was really sharpening my craft, trying to improve everything about this because I really, really enjoyed it. So that's why I started this wedding company. We're doing photos, we're doing videos. And with the wedding company, that's where I really started to learn more about storytelling. The videos that I created were not just these montages where it's like, hey, slow-mo B-roll, love song. I was really taking the speeches, the talking parts, the candid moments. So I was creating this narrative, this story that really showcases and highlights their day. And that's what really made me stand out from the other videographers. Incorporating storytelling, not just visuals. So I really, I was this content creator which was just focused on visuals. Now I start to see the impact of when you incorporate storytelling. And I'm sure you guys hear it all the time. Tell stories, impact, it will make more of an impact. And it's true. So with this, I continue to develop the skill set. I was then getting some inquiries for other types of jobs outside of weddings. Little corporate gigs. Hey, can you come cover our event? Can you showcase my business in this way? So still small projects where it was really just B-roll. I wasn't really incorporating storytelling into the corporate gigs. I'm still getting used to it. I was working with, small businesses. I was working with these corporations to cover events, the fashion industries, fine-tuning my photo skills and video skills, and doing all this while still working at RBC, 9 to 5. 9 to 5, and then I have two small businesses, right? I separated the corporate and the wedding industry so that it sets clarity to the client. And leading up to there, I'm like, man, I really, really enjoy this. I really want to enjoy this. I really want to fully commit to this. So the next stage of my creative journey, okay. So before we go to the next stage, the next chapter of my creative journey, one thing I want to do is like I mentioned, I want to elevate your skill set so that you could provide impact for your clients. So as I'm going through these chapters, I know that listing videos is an essential product for your client, right? So I want you to think about how can each listing become a chapter in a larger story? So we know that when we film a listing, the goal is to highlight the property. I'm trying to figure out a way that we could provide more value than just that. So I leave you with this. I want to revisit it later in my presentation. I want you to start thinking about some ways that we could provide more value when it comes to a listing. And then I want to share this with everyone. I want to have an open discussion. So that's why I kind of threw it there in my presentation. But we're going to revisit this, okay? So start thinking about, like, how can each listing become a chapter in a larger story? All right, so we're now at chapter 4, Take Risk. 2014, like I mentioned, I was working for RBC 9 to 5. This side business was slowly starting to grow. It was growing, it's growing. I landed my first commercial project with Walmart. I didn't work directly with Walmart. It was a marketing agency. They reached out to me. They're like, hey, we need to put together this 30-second spot. So it was like a mini commercial that was going to be played at TIFF. Very simple B-roll. This model was dancing, showcasing the wardrobe. A fun project. But this was the project where it really made me think of, okay, I got to, I'm getting all these projects. I got Walmart. Now's the time to pull the trigger. I got to quit the 9 to 5 and fully commit to this. And I had a great career with RBC. I was thriving. It was really good. I had the security, great salary, great opportunities. And one day I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to pull the trigger. This opportunity is never going to be there. I don't want to live with any regrets. So I posted this on Instagram. It was June 11th, 2014. Take risk. If you win, you will be happy. If you lose, you will be wise. I posted that on Instagram. The reason why I did it on Instagram, without even telling my boss or anything, they were all following me. So they saw this. They're like, okay, something's up. I posted on Instagram. Didn't go to work that day. Ignored their phone calls. I went to work the next day. And I told them, I think it's time for me to make that shift, that move. And the reason I posted on Instagram, because I knew they were going to try and convince me to stay. And they did. And that reminded me, Mike, take the leap of faith. Do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it. And it was the scariest moment because when I did it, I remember celebrating this with my wife. We went to, I think it was the Keg, and it did not feel like a celebration at all. My wife, she was a bit nervous. I, too, was nervous as well, too. And I was like, oh, man, did I make a mistake here? Because, am I just feeding off of the adrenaline of that Walmart project? And yeah, I'm like, okay, well, here we are. Let's see what happens. And as I started the business and I left the bank, no more of that stable income, no more paychecks. I was like, oh shoot. Okay, where's the business? You know how it is. Everyone's like, the marketing agency, the Walmart's like, yeah, we want to do so many videos. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for the videos. Where's the other videos? How about you? Quiet. I'm like, oh my God. Like, and this is my first business. I didn't really know much about this whole entrepreneurship, this business, and I was just like, okay, I started to unfortunately accumulate some debt. And I'm just like, okay, I have to start doing something. I'm like, it's not enough to just wait around. So what did I do? Nothing new. I don't think the strategy from back then to now has changed. Content, content, content. Post your stuff on Instagram. Post your stuff on Facebook, all the different platforms. You really got to showcase yourself and put yourself out there. And one thing I want to bring up here is we talk about content. I want to help you increase your conversion because just posting content is not enough, okay? Post the content and you need to keep an eye on who's interacting with your content. Engage with those individuals, interact with them. What you definitely need to keep an eye on is some of the bottom of the funnel type of content that you're putting out there. What I mean by that is the content that really speaks to your demographic, that showcases your value, your skill sets. Whoever is interacting with that, you have to follow them. You have to like 2 or 3 of their posts. You need to engage. You need to comment on their posts and eventually build that relationship and then slide into DMs, have a conversation, not just like a sales. You think, hey, I love your work. I love this. Build that relationship. So it's important to create content, but you have to engage with others. You have to build that relationship. Why is that important? Because warm DMs, warm calls are far easier to convert than cold. If you're already interacting with them and they know your work, it's going to be a lot easier for you to position a sales call. So get out there, engage, interact, build relationships, connect with others. Another thing that we got to do that I learned as a business is that, oh wow, now I got to do outreach. I need to do cold calling. I got to send out emails. I got to bring in new customers. So here's a rough formula or rough strategy that you could apply, and hopefully all of you as business owners, as videographers, are trying to get new clients and not just relying on content or stuff to come. So set a target, pick 1 to 2 niches, build a list of 20 to 50 qualified leads, some realtors, some brokerages. If you want to work with architects, developers, hey, fine, create that list. And I say 20 to 50. That's very reasonable. You know, if you want to increase it, if you want to decrease it, 50 to 100, really create that list. The next thing that you're going to do is warm them up. So you found your list of people that you want to target. The actions that you take is to follow them, like 2 to 3 posts, leave a thoughtful comment, not just the fire emojis, okay? And interact with them. I wouldn't say right away and be like, hey, by the way, do you need videos? No, engage, have a conversation, wait a bit, warm it up. Then eventually, yes, you're gonna wanna send some personalized messages that you wanna convert it to a sales call. You know, and make it not some kind of templated message where it's like, oh, this is hey, this is what I specialize in, no. Make it meaningful. Hey, I was taking a look at your page. I love this post. Oh, I love this. I noticed that you did this video last year or whatever. What's your plans? Like, have you been doing videos lately? You know, start up with that. Have that conversation and try to lead it into a booked sales call. So have 20 of those meaningful conversations a week. Convert those to sales calls. And out of those booked sales calls, hopefully you're going to get 1 new client. Imagine getting 1 new client every week. That's going to be phenomenal. That's going to really help you grow your business. So really, this whole outreach strategy I share with you because this is the thing that really helped me grow my business at the early stages. When I said that, oh my God, where's all the business? I started to apply this. And what was the outcome from doing this? So this is chapter 5, 2015, The Shift, Kylie Jenner's 18th birthday. So what happened was I lived in Montreal this time. On TV and media, they made an announcement of like, oh, Kylie Jenner is going to be in Montreal celebrating her 18th birthday. Media, so much coverage. So I was like, okay, I got to figure out who is covering this event. So I did my research. I found it was team production, so I found the production company behind it. What I did was I sent a cold email to this production company. I'm like, hey, I take a look at my work, take a look at my website. I would love to be part of this event. They looked at it, they responded like, hey, this is great, I love your work. Why don't you come join us for a meeting with a brainstorm meeting. So I showed up, I met the whole team, and they offered me a role. It wasn't paid, it was free. They mentioned like, hey, you know what? We would love to have you be part of the event. You could be the third videographer and capture things. I'm like, oh, you know what? This is amazing. I would love to. I would love to be part of something like this just for the experience and the somewhat exposure. So I went to the event. I covered it, captured some great stuff. I met some great individuals. And this is where it opened the door to another big step in my creative journey. This is where I met people from Epic Mealtime. This is a YouTube channel. How many of you are familiar with Epic Mealtime? Okay, amazing. It's good to know that they're still somewhat relevant in 2026. Back in 2010, that was when they were really, really successful. So I met people from Epic Mealtime at the Kylie Jenner event, and they loved my work. They subcontracted me to do some videos, to film some videos, and to edit. So I was a subcontractor for them, still running my wedding and other corporate business. As things go and as I developed the relationship with Epic Mealtime, they really liked my work, and they offered me a full-time role. And this opportunity to me was amazing. It's something like, I'm like, oh my God, I built these small businesses, but I'm never gonna come across something like this. I fully committed to Epic Mealtime full-time. Slowly, the side business started to dissolve, but I got to experience working with all these talented individuals. Got to travel the world. I remember going to Japan. It was the video game Final Fantasy that flew us out there, and they wanted us to do a brand integration, so that was like a collaboration. Just being there, I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is my job. I got to travel to Italy, got to go to these amazing events. I got to work with some amazing influencers like Logan Paul, so a lot of the YouTubers. I got to see how the business works. That's one thing I learned, is that this whole YouTube channel thing, it's not just entertainment, it's a full-on business. There are collaborations that are happening with agencies. There's social media managers running the actual thing. We had a sales team. We had a director of operations. So this was not just it was an actual business. And this is where I learned so many things. It's really something where I learned all the skill sets. This is what helped me transform from really just this videographer, the creator, into the more business mindset, the director, a storyteller. And one of the things that I learned early is how I was able to enhance my storytelling skill sets. And why? It's because we would often film these skits. So scripted skits is something that is a a great way to learn the techniques of storytelling because there's dialogue involved. There's talent that you need to direct. There's multiple angles. So I highly recommend. How many of you are experienced or shoot like scenes, like skits like that with dialogue? You must do some with your agents. Sometimes the agents want to do these funny skits. I highly recommend to practice more on this. Whether it be with your friend or a passion project, try to do skits because it's really going to enhance and sharpen your skills. Write down these scripts, work with others, communicate and direct them, film the different angles, edit it. That's the biggest thing, edit it, because now you're working with dialogue, multiple angles. You have to control the pacing, you have to control the impact, the story, the narrative, everything. So it's a great way to sharpen your skills. And another thing I'll share, for those of you that have a team, when you're looking to hire a videographer, an editor, see if they have skills or experience when it comes to short film or skits. Something to look out for, because those individuals are very beneficial. Great editors, great shooters, very experienced. So another thing I learned to sharpen my storytelling skills was understanding the framework when it comes to storytelling. The key pillars: character development, conflict solution, resolution, outcome. These are the key pillars, and it doesn't have to be always applied in the video, and it becomes harder now because everything's short form. It's like, how am I supposed to in 30 seconds apply all of these different stages? Sometimes you're just taking certain pillars, certain things, and you're putting it into your video. But when you do have the opportunity, these are the things that you want to focus on, especially resolution and outcome. That's one of the biggest things, because at the end of the day, the client doesn't care about how all they care is about the outcome, the results, right? It's like, make this video so that I can get high offers. That's all I care about. I don't care if it's creative, I don't care if it's this or this, but if your video could deliver the results, then I'm a happy person. So focus, think about that. Forget about the how, the what, focus on the outcome, the desired outcome. All right, director, yes. So another skill set that I learned was being a director. Honestly, before this, I was very shy. It was hard for me to direct talent, but being around these individuals, I learned the different tactics. You know, like I was on set with these big creators, very talented individuals, some of them with egos. You know, I learned how, like, you can't just tell anybody what to do. So it's something that you got to adapt with the different characters. I'm sure you work with your realtors. Some of them are like, tell me what to do. And some of them have the ego. It's like, no, I'm not doing, no, this is what we're going to do. You know, they want to run the show. So you have to adapt with the different individuals. And what I learned really is direct the story, not just the shots. Every frame should answer what is the audience supposed to feel and understand. So when I incorporated the storytelling and I learned all the different tactics, a lot of the shots had, you know, everything had to have purpose. Why are we doing this transaction? Why are we using this establishing shot? Why are we going into a tight shot versus a medium shot? So everything had purpose. And you should think the same way when you're putting together your videos, because nowadays we have limited attention spans, so every shot counts. Perfect. So another big thing when it comes to directing, and this is a big thing that I learned, is communicate with precision. I'm sure a lot of you work with these realtors where it's like, hey, you need to guide them, you need to direct them, and the best advice I have for you is to avoid being very vague. Like, you have to paint the picture for them, okay? It's not enough, like if you're filming the intro and they don't hit it, you can't just be like, okay, let's do it again. And you know what? Smile more. That's not a good way to direct them. You know why? It's because you're diminishing their confidence. They're like, oh man, I miss it. Oh, smile more, like more and more pressure. So pre-position things with them. Tell them that we're going to do multiple takes so that we get variation, so that they don't feel when you say like do another take, oh, I missed it, I got to do it again, I'm not hitting it. Pre-position things with them and guide them. Hey, you know what, Mr. John, this one, that was a great take, but I really want to bring out your charisma, that happiness, because in the beginning of the video, we're gonna start it off with high energy. So I want you to imagine you just collected your commission paycheck for that $20 million property, okay? That's the energy I'm looking for. Let's do it. And then you gotta hype them up. If that's what you're looking for, then you gotta bring that energy to them, and you gotta communicate it properly. So communication is key, and it's different, like I said. Not everybody. Some people, you really gotta be out there. Some people you have to be more subtle. Some people have the egos where I'm more low-key. When there's a bunch of people there, they don't like to be directed. That's one thing I learned working with talent and ego. You can't be super loud and just pointing. You got to approach them. Like, hey, what do you think about this? Can we try this? And they're more receptive. So communication is something that I learned. Communicate with precision. Another thing, with these projects, they were getting bigger and bigger, and more people were involved. There was the marketing agency, there was the client, there was another third party, there was the production team. So the pre-planning was super, super important. It was no longer, let's just run and gun, let's overshoot. We had to come up with storyboards. We had to come up with shot lists. We had to really lay down the plan, and it's got to get approved by everybody. This way, it sets clarity and it eliminates any type of confusion, because I've seen projects where we went all out and we went super creative, but it was not in line with the vision of the client. So by pre-planning, putting all that together, you get approval from your client, you get approval from your team, you get approval from everybody. And it's a lot easier for a shooter and an editor when they have the blueprint and the roadmap. Instead of them approaching a project like, okay, I don't know what to do, I'm just gonna make something out this. They have clear guidelines of what they need. Now they could focus on elevating that vision versus like trying to make something out of nothing. So I have the guidelines. Now, hey, let me add this creative touch. Let me add my input there. So you're now getting a product that is constantly evolving. From the filming to it, to the editing, it's always getting better because you're working with artists, with creative people that want to execute this vision and make it at a higher level. So I truly do recommend to make sure that the planning, I know that when it comes to real estate and a listing, it's a bit more difficult, but I highly recommend to find different templates or find ways to manage the expectations. I'm sure you get people sometimes like, hey, I want this Ryan Seacrest video at the $20 million property that looks like this. So you got to be very clear in the pre-planning with your clients and manage those expectations. Have something that is maybe 3 tiers and have the client approve it. Like, hey, which one is aligned? Oh, I like this one here. Perfect. We're going to stick to that. And then you're going to avoid the back and forth. So that's one thing I learned from directing, is really the pre-planning on how it's such a key phase. It makes it easier for everybody for each stage. So we're here at Chapter 7, 2018, the move. This is when I moved to Toronto. I moved from Montreal to Toronto. So Epic Mealtime wanted to make the transition to Toronto because of the business opportunities. So I moved my family here. My wife, my son came here. We moved to Toronto, and it was amazing. Got to we got some amazing brand deals working with Xbox. We got some great sponsorships. We were increasing productions, and I was having the time of my life. Again, this whole journey with Epic Mealtime was the dream job. It was sometimes too much fun, like the stuff that you see on camera, you're like, oh yeah, that's not fake alcohol, that's real alcohol. And a lot of partying going on, so I had to be careful. So we moved to Toronto. Again, this was an amazing opportunity. But what happened was there was this transition from Epic Mealtime. Unfortunately, after a few years in Toronto, they were not able to keep up with the demand. Slowly, the views were dropping, the relevancy was dropping, production cost was too high, so they had to scale down. They scaled down production. I was at that point, I was a director, and they ended up moving back to Montreal. So I was here in Toronto. This was actually when I first purchased my first property. Purchased the property, and maybe like a few weeks after, we're kind of like shutting down and restructuring production. So I unfortunately had to move on from Epic Mealtime, and that was really, really devastating. It was hard because, again, it was such a dream job, and I was not just a dream job, but I was learning so much. Like, imagine going into work, having fun, and also like fine-tuning your skills, like all the time. Every project, I was getting better and better and better. So that happened, and that was very hard for me. The transition was tough because I was, it wasn't easy to find. It wasn't easy to find a job. I was going around trying, applying everywhere, and I couldn't find. Like, it was already, we're reaching like 2 months, 3 months, and I was applying everywhere, still couldn't get something. And I did get an opportunity. And I share this with you because throughout this whole journey, there's a lot of, I'm sharing all the highs, but I'm sure you're aware there's a lot more lows than highs. And this point here was a very low moment because it was hard for me to transition from that. And I couldn't find a job. I had bills to pay and everything. And I did get an opportunity, and this is the first time I'm sharing this. So it was a kiosk in Walmart in Burlington. One of those kiosks, they sell passports. So I got a job there. They sell passports, and they also do photography for family. So I got a job there. I went in there, and I was getting paid, I think, $14 an hour. 14. From Epic Mealtime. 6-figure salary, partying, all these crazy events to transition to that. And one thing that really helped me get through all of this, that job there at the little kiosk, I never approached it with the mentality that, oh, I'm too good for this. I knew that it was just a phase, and this is where I'm sure all of you know it's the mindset. We all go through these difficult times, and the mindset thing is really what helps us to keep pushing forward. So I never walked in there thinking I was too good. I gave it 100% every single day, and I feel like that really helped me get through that period because I feel like if I was just there, with a negative attitude, it would just get worse and worse. And what happened is that eventually it turned into something more positive. It turned into something more positive because I transitioned from there to another company. They did real estate. It's another real estate media company. I was brought on to there. I did a new beginning. How am I doing? 10 minutes? Okay, perfect. So I worked for a real estate media company. So I do know what it's like. And I know with the listing part, it's very tricky because you're working with small margins. So coming up with the efficiencies, finding those ways are very, very important. I don't think there's anything that I could add to that now because back then, it's evolved so much. There's all these tools nowadays. So, it was a learning experience for me. I was running the corporate side of this company. So we were doing the specialty projects and the corporate projects. And so it was still aligned with the stuff that I love to do. But it was a great experience for me. I really learned how to manage volume, the different clients, manage a team. So I want to kind of fast forward to, now I started, so what happened after there, I really wanted to grow, do my own thing. I basically plateaued with that company and I started Santisi Media. We're going into 3 years. We specialize in corporate videos and been really fun. Got to work with a lot of great companies. I get to do what I love to do and want to share here with you Amplifying listing videos. Okay, so kind of like what I mentioned earlier, how can we add more value to listing videos? Here are some suggestions. Again, I don't know if it's the best thing, but I want to share this with you. So the client calls you and they want a just listed video. So we do that. Now, what's stopping us from offering a just sold video? Because if you think about it, the just listed, yes, it highlights the property. That's what their client needs. But a just sold is actually more beneficial to the realtor. Why? Because their clients, they don't care. The clients for the realtor, they don't care about your new listing. They care about the results. So now the realtor can go and, hey, take a look at this property that I sold over asking. This is how I was able to answer the objections. This is how. So this is so beneficial to the realtor, not to the seller, to their clients, but it's beneficial to the realtor. So where I'm getting at is that you could easily create the just listed that they need. And what's stopping you from getting 1 or 2 lines extra? Hey, after we do your intro, can you just say to camera, like, hey, yo, we sold it, just sold it. Hey, this is great. Keep that in the bank. When it sells, put together an extra edit for them, okay? And then you could share that story. They could put it in the caption. Hey, this is what we did. This is what we accomplished. And this is how we were able to overcome things. So right there's an added value. And I feel like that's something that doesn't take much effort. So yeah, definitely. There's ways that you could try to maximize these listings. I put here one where imagine you create a package where it's 3 to 5 listings. And you tell them that in the 3 to 5 listings, we're gonna film a few extra lines. Let's just say that they specialize in GTA and they know that they're going to be really, the GTA area. Why don't we come up with a plan of like, hey, you know what? Can you create some neighborhood spotlights and maybe a few extra videos? So when we're doing the listing, you do the listing, that's the primary objective, but you're going in there and you're like, hey, we need to get this 1 line here, or 2 lines, or 3 lines. Okay, next video. So now you're almost building this campaign. So again, it's something that you want to provide your client as a package deal type of thing, So that's what I'm thinking about is you're already there. How can we just get a bit more substance? And then that's for you to see if it's an extra cost or just an added value. Because if you're not charging extra and it's very easy for you to execute, you're going to stand out from the rest, right? Like, man, and this is where they're going to start to see results. They might say like, oh, I don't need a just sold, because all they care is the just listed. I just need my commission. But then they really need to start building their brand. That's why it's very important to come up with strategies to help them build their brand. What else can we do? So here, it's creating all these little pieces of content for them. So we do the listed video. What's stopping us from filming a 1-liner, a 15-second coming soon teaser? So, it could be something, a cinematic neighborhood preview. And I'm talking, these secondary deliverables, 15 seconds, 20-second type of videos. Right before you do the just listed, it's like, hey, you know what? This is an amazing neighborhood. Boom, 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 boom. That's it. A coming soon cinematic neighborhood. Why this home stands out. Just one key benefit, 1-liner, 15-second video again. Answering objections type of video. Is this street too busy? Here's the reality. So it's almost like one of those like short form videos and just addressing all these objections. So, and you know that it's fairly easy. If you come in prepared, you can get these 1-liners very quickly. So now you're walking away with the listing, and the client has the just listed and then has 5 other short pieces of video. So what happens when you launch that online? Coming soon. Oh, this, and then you have the just listed, and then you have another short. Now you're building a true campaign. What happens? The client sees that, they see the more value. So which one is more valuable? Is it the fast-paced one video or a bunch of short ones where it's very simple? There's no right or wrong answer, but I'm trying to provide you with some solutions that maybe like, hey, we could tailor this or adjust this without increasing the cost. That's what I'm trying to factor in is like, how can you do this? Is it possible to execute all this in one shot, not driving the cost up so much? Behind the scenes marketing, try to capture behind the scenes with your phone, give them an extra video. So the goal is nowadays we need so much content, and I feel like the one video, it's not enough. We need to provide them with a full campaign. I think that's what your pitch should be. You know, we're not doing videos anymore. We're building you a proper campaign. Use the examples that some of these big brands are using. Why are they dropping 10, 15 pieces? It's because nowadays you need to be seeing multiple points. There has to be a lot of touch points, not just one video. So these are the discussions that you need to have with your client. Here is, I'm going to share it with you. This is part of my proposal for a client. It's a commercial project. So I use these strategic wording, like it's not like, hey, package A, package B. This is the awareness to revenue system package. Just to give you a briefing what it is, the full funnel system, the full funnel growth system is designed to take your audience from first impression to final decision seamlessly and strategically. The package combines top of the funnel content to capture attention, middle of the funnel content to build trust and connection, and bottom of the funnel assets that clearly communicate your offer and drive conversion. So this is how I position my packages. This is how I communicate with this. This is going back to setting expectations, providing them value. I have here a breakdown. It's a full day production, up to 8 hours, full production team. This is an interview style type of project, so 3 to 4 interviews. We have 4 30-second creative reels, 1 60-second creative ad, 1 2-minute brand video, and we have photo coverage. So this is how I present my options to my clients when it comes to the corporate projects. And hopefully there's something that you could take from there, how you present it to your clients as well too. The path to larger budgets and bigger. So this is something I added. When I was on the VIP dinner, I was having these discussions with people, and a lot of people were talking about like, hey, I want to get the bigger projects to bigger budgets. And there is definitely a pathway, and this is the pathway that I see. You know, start off, try to get into more luxury homes, you know, develop that skill set. Then slowly evolve into, you know, maybe it's not just luxury homes. Now you're becoming a partnership with brokerages. That's a key thing now, because now you have more consistent work, you got more volume, you become a partnership with brokerages. After that, you know, what's next? You could start looking outside of real estate. Custom home builders. I work with a lot of custom home builders, architects, and interior designers. So there are bigger budgets, and allows me to be more creative and put in what I really need to. So working with them, I've also worked with builders and developers. This is, you know, there's a lot more there's bigger budgets with the builders and developers because they have a project that's worth 400 million. What's 50,000, or you know, what is it? And the numbers, just to share you the numbers that they're throwing out there. I know a very commercial video that they got a $300,000 budget for the commercial. $300,000. So I was like, oh my God, I saw this. I'm like, it's amazing, but like I could have done it for, I would do it for 100. I would do it for 50,000 if you want, you know. So. And to share with you that the opportunity, I did get an opportunity to work with a developer. They flew me out to Costa Rica. It was a $50,000 project, eight episodes, 8 minutes each episode, web series on the project. So there's a lot of opportunity with the developers and builders. And the reason why I share this, I feel like architects, developers, builders, they're all very much aligned with real estate. Like the skill sets that you've built, there's no doubt that you can eventually start to tackle this. And what I recommend is for you to collaborate with others, join forces. This is how I got into some of these projects. Find a mentor, find somebody that's got experience and collaborate with them, and then you could slowly start to build that resume, understand the wants, the needs that these clients need, and you're just gonna slowly shift. And that's why I shared my journey. It didn't start off with big projects. It was all slowly, step by step, learning, and that's the path. There's no easy secret. Like a lot of people were asking me, like, how can I work with builders? I'm like, well, you got to build the relationships. You got to get the experience. You got to slowly take the steps. You're going to get the one builder project, and then slowly that could turn into maybe a few a year. Then maybe totally shift. So that's the path I want to share. To be written. The last chapter is to be written. I'm here in front of all of you amazing people, and it's going to continue. I want to thank you, Alex, for this opportunity. When you guys leave, I want you guys to be undeniable, be unforgettable, start creating impact, and you will redefine the real estate industry. Thank you so much, everybody.